All right, take two. Let's give it up for Keya.
While most places around the world have 4 seasons, here in Seattle, we have a fifth. And I am, of course, referring to the annual mini apocalypse of smoke season. As climate change intensifies Pacific Northwest wildfire smoke seasons, HEPA filtration is our only defense against toxic, microscopic smoke particles that harm the health of humans, animals, plants, and ecosystems. It works by passing airflow through a mesh of fibers that trap any airborne particles. However, conventional HEPA filters are made from petroleum-based plastics, whose production and waste generate massive pollution, including significant greenhouse gas emissions, meaning more climate change and more wildfire smoke. Plus, synthetic HEPA filters cannot function outdoors, leaving our community members without the privilege of indoor access vulnerable. Think outdoor workers, unhoused people, pedestrian commuters, and of course, wildlife and plants. But what if I told you that there's an all-natural material that we could instead use to make HEPA filters from? One that's cheap, sustainable, and completely outdoor compatible. I'm talking about mycelium composites. When mycelium, the root structure of fungi, grows on an organic substrate like wood chips, you get an extremely durable material that you can grow into any shape you want and then preserve by inactivating it with high heat. Here's one I grew into the shape of a gummy bear. And we can easily upcycle these mycelium composites from local mushroom farms' spent block waste. Spent blocks are basically the halfway grown mycelium composite that you're left with after harvesting mushrooms. So, in order to investigate what this intervention could look like in our region, I asked, of those most frequently cultivated in Western Washington, which fungal species of upcycled mycelium composite is the most effective at smoke particle filtration? To answer this question, I first conducted interviews with Western Washington mushroom farmers to ascertain their most frequently cultivated fungal species. 7 were identified. Next, I took mycelium composites of those 7 fungal species, as well as a store-bought synthetic HEPA filter, and exposed each of them to an hour of incense smoke in a controlled environment. Finally, I used a microscope to detect how many smoke particles each of the samples caught to compare their smoke particle filtration performance. The results were pretty shocking. As you can see, one of the mycelium composites of the fungal species Hericium americanum was over 2 times more efficient than the synthetic HEPA filter at filtering smoke particles. So why is this? Well, this is a Hericium americanum mushroom. It's commonly known as bear's head tooth fungus. And similar to its mushrooms, bear's head tooth mycelium is exceptionally wispy and hair-like. This hairiness is actually the key to its smoke particle filtration superpower because it's what allows it to expand its surface area. It's similar to how axolotl gills evolved to resemble hair in order to maximize the surface area to take in oxygen. Essentially, the more surface area created by the mycelium fibers, the higher the chance of smoke particles colliding with them. And the bear's head tooth mycelium composite had the most surface area to offer out of all of the samples, including the HEPA filter. From this finding, I developed a prototype outdoor air filtration structure composed of upcycled bear's head tooth mycelium composites and integrated it into the garden as I designed for the UW farm in my Capstone internship. As you can see, it's a garden arch. Since I'm graduating next week, this garden is going to be my legacy at UW. Construction will begin next quarter, and the mycofiltration arch will help safeguard the health of the farm's workers, crops, and pollinators for smoke seasons to come. But this project is bigger than this campus. The global mushroom market is booming and expected to double in size over the next decade, leading to unprecedented quantities of spent block waste, as every 1 pound of fresh mushrooms results in 5 pounds of spent block waste. Meanwhile, my research provides a framework for other wildfire-prone regions around the world to take their local mushroom farm spent block waste and turn it into public health infrastructure, which could range from household air purifiers to cladding for building exteriors, paving the way for a future where we can mitigate climate hazards without creating more of them, all the while also repairing waste relations and bringing forth environmental justice. That way, we can keep our communities safe and healthy as we work together to transform the 5th season to a distant memory. Thank you.